Manny has 2,000 hits. The issue is the other Padres who have none of them. Padres fall to Arizona tonight 6-3. Machado 3 hits, a homer, gets to 2,000 in his age 32 season, joining a very elite group. But this offense, I mean, you can't struggle more than this offense. And they need upgrades yesterday. And you just saw it all on display in one game. I mean, Arizona tried to hand this game away. The walks, the 8th and 9th innings, the opportunities, bases loaded, 1 out. I mean, the fact that the Padres didn't make a serious run at this thing and pulled it within a run or tie this game is actually somewhat surprising. But Arizona wins game 1, 6-3. Zach Gallen, who had been awful this year, of course, looks amazing against the Padres here tonight. So we're going to react to it all. Subscribe. We're past 8,800 subscribers. Let's get to 9,000 collectively. We need your help. Please subscribe to this channel. Year-round content for you. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We'll get to every super chat. We appreciate your support of the channel. Click the $ below the chat box if you want to see your comment on screen. If you want to control the direction of the conversation, if you want to become a member, you can click the join button down below. Darvish return, we'll get into it. It was encouraging because he's out there, and hopefully he's back out there in 5 or 6 days. But, I mean, this offense, Jim, I don't know how many more times we can say the exact same thing. It's one thing not to hit good pitching. It's another thing not to hit mediocre pitching. It's another thing not to hit bad pitching. And Zach Gallen has not had a good year. He was the highest ERA among qualifying starting pitchers in the National League coming into tonight. I think I have that right from Chris Garagiola, who calls the games and joined us earlier today. So, I mean, how can you start anywhere other than the offense? We'll talk about Darvish. We'll talk about Machado. But this whole thing is predicated on their inability to do anything on offense. And the fact that they're 6 games over 500 is the 9th wonder of the world.
Well, I mean, if you're the Padres TV postgame show, you don't mention how awful the offense was tonight. But here on the wrap-up show, we keep it fucking real with you. I will always contest that you can be okay as a team, even if your catcher is dog shit. Even if you have an 8-9 in your lineup that's awful, you can still win a bunch of games and you still can put up runs on the board. Okay. But tonight was really bad. I'm not putting all of the offensive struggles this team has had on, Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz and, Bryce Johnson and Jose Iglesias and, Trenton Brooks and whoever other, awful player that has been put into those positions. I'm not going to put the entirety of this team's offensive struggles on those players, but holy shit, they all need to go. There is not one redeemable quality of any player that I just named. And there's no reason why any of those players should keep a roster spot. It should have been, we need to upgrade these positions yesterday. And the fact that AJ Preller has yet to upgrade these positions, or at least attempted to upgrade these positions outside the organization, is kind of crazy to me. They're not the sole reason why this offense has been dog shit for 2 months, but they are a reason. They are attributing to why this offense has been awful. If Jackson Merrill was actually performing, and if Fernando Tatis Jr. was actually performing, and if Xander Bogaerts was actually performing, and if Luis Ariz, who has gotten hot lately, has been more consistent this year, then the team would be better. Even if you had the awful, awful, awful play from the guys that I named at the bottom of your lineup. But holy shit, tonight was bad.
Okay, so to that point, and I agree with everything you said, but it is time to have that conversation. Let's be honest. When you have a 9-link chain, you can't give up 2 9ths, and it's more than that.
Yeah.
4 9ths traditionally with this lineup, 6, 7, 8, 9 traditionally. I know there's been moments where Bogaerts has been better. There's certainly been moments when Jake Cronenworth has been better. Let's just say you're giving up a third of your lineup on average. That doesn't fly. That's not cohesive, and it doesn't afford you the opportunity to take off like they did a year ago. Here's why I think Preller hasn't done anything. He looks around and he says we're 48 and 42. We've gotten to this point with the horseshit lineup that we have. Just go another 2 weeks and let's see who's buying and let's see who's selling, and we will strike when possible. As in, He doesn't need to force the issue yet. Now, again, I could make the argument you do because it's going to be hard to replicate last year's second half. And if the season ended today, the Padres are now on the outside looking in. And there's good teams in the National League. San Francisco maybe is flawed, but so is San Diego. St. Louis might be flawed, but so is San Diego, right? And so on and so forth. So I do think it's past time. But I think he looks around and says, we're 48 and 42. We're going to be fine. If we get to the deadline, we're 48 and 42, that winning percentage, or 6-7 games over 500, we're going to be fine. But man, they're really testing that theory. I mean, how many times can you put 45,000 people at Petco Park and do nothing on offense? I mean, how many times can you do that? How many times can you load the bases with one out and not score?
Yeah.
How many times are you going to do that? And they're really testing the theory of the difference between a good team and a bad team. 0 for 6 RISP tonight. Again, the 48 and 42 is not a bad team.
No,
But they're testing my psyche and what I'm watching. Like they're a good team, but they were 14 and I mean, what are they? What are they? They're a good pitching staff with a disaster of an offense for the last 2+ months.
and imagine if they go a 2-week stretch where the pitching staff regresses or has a bad 2-week stretch,
Which they've had. They had that in May.
They had that, yeah. But what if they have it again? Like, what if coming out of the break on that 10-game road trip, their offense still remains the same over the last 2 months, and then their pitching staff kind of regresses and falters a little bit? They're walking a tightrope, and they're putting so much pressure on their pitching staff to keep these games close and to win every single low-scoring game that they can possibly win, because they can't blow out teams, or they can't put up runs consistently. They're asking for trouble. And to their credit, the pitching staff has kept this team, in it at 48 and 42. It's the back end 4 horsemen. I'm pulling that back out because they've been great. It's the Adrian Morhone. It's the Jeremiah Estrada, Jason Adam. Robert Suarez hasn't been like lights out this year, but I mean, he's still second in the league in saves. He's second in the league in saves, I believe.
Yeah,
So
first or second.
He's had hiccups here and there, but at the same time, without those 4 pitchers, this team is probably 500 or worse right now. And I'll throw in Nick Pivetta in there as well.
Dude, 100%. I mean, look at it like this way: like the good angel and the bad like devil on your shoulders. The good tells you, well, Darvish King coming back. Look at their bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like an elite bullpen. Look at Preller's history. He'll upgrade at deadlines with a team that's capable. And then like the bad devils, like, is this 2023? Is this 2021? We've seen this all, dude. I mean, you don't have to be a Padres fan for that long to have seen it all. You saw 2021 and 2023. You saw 2022 and 2024. So like, it's not that crazy to think that what you're watching is 2023, but it's also not that crazy to say, well, maybe it's 2024 because they were worse at this time of year and they went on the run and they got Mike Schild and AJ Preller's going to make upgrades and the rotation is going to get healthier. But I don't, maybe they're in between. Maybe it's an 84 win team at the end of the year and they're scuffling and they're on the wrong side or the right side by a game, something like that. But this offense, and to your point, the struggles of 8-9 should not take away from the disaster of a month stretch for Jackson Merrill. Fernando Tatis Jr. hasn't homered since the Reagan administration either. I know he reaches base a little bit, but it's the same story with him. Bogarts failed to come through here tonight once again. So you're right. It's not just Maldonado. It's not just Diaz. It's not just Iglesias. It's not just Trenton Brooks. It's not just Bryce Johnson. But you have Trenton Brooks as your DH popping out with the bases loaded. You've got bases loaded in the 8th inning, 1 out. You have Jose Iglesias swinging a 1-0 pitch. The reliever had thrown 11 balls in his last 12 pitches. He swung in a 1-0 pitch that was up and popped out. I mean, what are they doing? It is a fair question. Legitimately, what on earth is this Padres offense doing? And what will it take? If it doesn't take the Arizona Diamondbacks' horrific bullpen to turn the tides on your offense, then what will it take?
Yeah, if it wasn't for Manny Machado, this team would be the worst offensive team in baseball.
Like 29th, probably, but you're right.
I'm maybe serious. Maybe they're the worst team in baseball without Manny Machado on it. Like, think about that. That's wild to me, especially when you have a billion invested in this lineup. I've said this before. When you have over $1 billion invested in something, that's expected to perform and produce. If I invested $1 billion in a company and it was like going under,
Yeah.
and it would, yeah, if I'm like hemorrhaging money, that's a problem. Is that on, like, who is that on? Is that on the company? Like, where's the disconnect here? You know, these guys got to produce and they got to perform. I mean, Xander Bogaerts, perfect example. He had some really bad at bats tonight.
He did.
Just second guessing himself, you know, taking pitches down the middle and then swinging at pitches out of the zone.
Yep.
I mean, don't even get me started on that Elias Diaz at bat. 3-1, you take a fastball down the middle and you swing at ball 4. Like, come on. The second that ball went down the middle and he didn't swing and just watched it go by in a like prototypical hitter's count, you're not going to get a better count than 3-1 with the bases loaded.
Praying to walk.
Just praying to walk. I mean, that he's already going up there defeated. That's what that tells me. He is going up there already defeated. And that's a lot of this lineup. Going up there already defeated before they even get into the batter's box. And that at bat by Elias Diaz, he stood no chance. Like zero chance in that at bat.
And I could go through. There were a lot of at bats this game that I've already forgotten about. There were 4, 5, 6 awful at bats in this game, and that adds up to wasting 4, 5, 6, 7 opportunities. And by the way, it's not a fix, but it's been talked about wildly, and we've talked about it today. And Kyle Glazer and Kevin Acee. Luis Campusano better be on that first flight out for tomorrow. I'm not saying it fixes it, but come on, Trenton Brooks has never consistently playing the big leagues. He's hitting 185. But John Campy doesn't have a hit this year in the big leagues. Give him 50 at bats. Who cares? Give him from today until July 31st. If he performs, he gets more opportunities. If he doesn't, trade him to the Reds for cash. I don't care. But he needs to play tomorrow. He needs to DH every single day for the next 15 games. If he hits 301, amazing. If he hits 159, we'll see in St. Louis when you're a Cardinals AAA farmhand for Memphis. It's as simple as that. He has to be up tomorrow. He has to be DHing. He has to be batting 7th or 8th. And it's an issue. You cannot consistently DH freaking Bryce Johnson and Trenton Brooks or whatever the hell they're trying to do. You've got to at least try with Luis Campusano. He has a plus bat according to scouts. We've seen it at times. At least that exists theoretically. He has to be given an opportunity until the trade deadline.
It was so funny during the post game tonight. Schultes said along the lines of the reasons why, you know, Diaz pinch hit instead of Bryce Johnson, and he was talking about matchups, and then he said something along the lines of, well, we thought that, you know, if Bryce went up there in the matchup we liked, he could have maybe hit one in the gap or even hit one over the wall and we'd have gotten the lead. I'm like, what? Has Bryce Johnson ever homered in the big leagues? Has Bryce Johnson ever had any type of big hit in his entire career? Because the answer to that is no. So why would you think
that big leagues? No, he did one time.
Okay, again, very forgettable. Like, how could you honestly think that in a situation with Bryce Johnson? I mean, give me a break, dude. It's gotten so bad with the bottom of this lineup and the catching position that we are, you know, like begging them to bring up Luis Campusano again. Like that's how bad it's gotten. And for a team that already just is completely out. I mean, they, as far as Schilt goes, you could have some guy off the street and he would pick that person over Luis Campusano to catch games for them. That's how out he is on Campy. And this organization, I think you have people behind scenes, and even Kevin said today, you got people in that organization that are like, why the F is Maldonado and Diaz catching so much? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If you want to go to the pitching side and be like, well, they've caught a bunch of shutouts, blah, 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 they are hurting this team. They're not like these defensive wizards out there. And, you know, I saw a stat today, Too Much Morton's put it out on Twitter, talking about Campy catching guys like Darvish and Cease. If you remember last year, Campy caught over 150 innings of Dylan Cease last year. he also caught a no-hitter from Dylan Cease. Is it a coincidence that Dylan Cease this year has been, I mean, just like for his standards, it's been bad?
I wouldn't give him that much credit, but I see what
I'm just saying, hey, look,
yeah,
I'm just saying the numbers show, right? Like this year he's been awful. And last year he finished fourth in Cy Young voting in the National League. Campy was his primary catcher. Campy's caught Darvish before. You couldn't get worse is what we're trying to say.
That's why I say, but just DH him. I
Yeah,
mean, I agree with you. Maybe they'll give him an opportunity behind the plate as well. But if nothing else, please DH him. And by the way, you want to know how many times Bryce Johnson homered at Sam Houston State? 3 times. Okay, in 3 years. So, yeah, he's not hitting a ball over the wall in the major leagues, even against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ridiculously awful bullpen. Padres still, I mean, we'll see. This is happening a lot. They lose game 1 of a series. They win the next 2. They're playing the next 3 against Arizona. Who knows? I have no clue with this team. I can't predict. I really can't. All right, we're going to get to these super chats. Guys, if you're here, subscribe. Over 300 of you are here right now live. So please subscribe to this channel on our way to 9,000 subscribers with your help. And thank you for the super chats. If you support our work, click the $sign below the chat box, like No Mama with the first super of the night, who I think is talking about Kyle Hart, saying Kyle would be good in the pen. Well, he threw all those pitches yesterday. He gets option, which is just part of the business, but he was effective, more than effective yesterday. I don't know. Their bullpen's fine. I mean, yes, their soft part of the bullpen, Nunez, Peralta, Matsui tonight against Naylor. But I think on the whole, their bullpen's fine. I don't think they need Kyle Hart in their bullpen. Kyle Hart's a depth piece, and he gave him depth yesterday. And he'll probably need to do it again in the second half of the year.
Yeah, he was good. It's just a procedural thing. Like you know that, hey, after this game, you're gonna get option because they need a fresh arm. And so that's what happened.
Yeah, he couldn't pitch today in the bullpen anyway after yesterday.
Yeah, he's not pitching back-to-back days.
So. No. Chucky D, thank you. He says Padres giveaway item idea. A tip your cap. You put it on and Cy Young rises from the grave. Mike Schilt tipped his cap to Manny Machado postgame. Of course, we'll get into Manny. I mean, he talked about Machado for 10 or 15 minutes, and I think it's deserving what Machado has done. 2,000 hits through age 32 season. That list is ridiculous. The 2,000 hit, 350 home run through age 32 season list. Everyone's in the Hall of Fame other than A-Rod, because Pujols is going to be in and Miggy's going to be in. Think about that. 11 guys have done it. Everyone's in the Hall of Fame other than A-Rod. So he's as close to a lock as you're going to get, Jim, which is great. And he'll get a statue and he'll get his lock. And we'll have, there's another day for that. 5 years after he retires, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. But right now, what's he thinking? Like, how much of the load can you shoulder? How much can you? He's 33 years old. It's like those memes. You like, man, I can only do so much, dude. Like, come on, someone else pick me up. Like, I had 3 hits and hit a home run and account for everything, and we lose by 3 runs. He's
also not making our as Manny goes, the team goes narrative stick, because he's had a great year, and this team, albeit they are in a better position than they were at this time last year, still offensively, besides him and Luis Ariz to an extent of late, you have 7 out of 9 in the lineup who are just blah. And it's not just like 7 randos. I mean, you got some big names in there that have been struggling. Fernando Tatis Jr. Like, oh, he's played better, but no, he's been awful for 2.5 months. He should not have been an all-star. Sorry. But, Jackson Merrill, oof. I would agree, he got a lot of times post-game. What?
In the 9th inning, he got absolutely robbed. That was
I was going to say, I would agree. Like that 9th inning hit was just robbery. I mean, he's got it. I'm sure if I'm Jackson Merrill, I'm punching a wall.
Yeah, that sucks
after that moment. But still, and he's gotten a home run. I know robbed in that Kansas City series.
That was an amazing catch.
Like majority, take away those two hits. He's not like spraying the ball over the field and just being unlucky. He is striking out a lot. He is swinging at too many bad pitches, and he's not making enough good contact. He is all fucked up in the head right now. and you could tell.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm going to need you to pull up the sponsors, I think, by the way, because I'm on Mozilla, on Firefox. We'll talk about that later. I can't figure it out.
Hey, StreamYard, fix your stupid software.
I might be able to figure it out. Don't worry about it right now. Yeah, come on, StreamYard.
Like, what are we doing?
Gosh, what's worse, StreamYard or the freaking Padres right now? Offense, not the Padres. That's the thing. It's not the Padres. They're 8-9 in their last 17 games. They're not the worst team in baseball. I mean,
No.
people. I'm getting DMs. You got them as well, or I'm getting tagged. You got to go crazy tonight. I mean, we're telling it like it is. We're being. If you're not being this critical, you're not being truthful to Padres fans. But I'm not. They're not 3-14 in their last 17 games. I mean, tonight's not the jump off the deep end. The season's over. It's just not. But is this frustrating as hell what we're watching? It's ridiculous. I mean, this offense is pathetic. From where they were last year, which was like really, really good by Padres standards, to back to like 2016 Padres offense. How the hell, with $1.35 billion in offensive spending, do you have the 2016 offense? In fact, I'd love to do that, Jim. I want to look at team stats for the last decade. I bet there's a 2015, 16, or 17 Padres team that was a better team offense among the 30 teams in baseball than this team right now. And that's pathetic. And that's an indictment. And the fact that they're 48-42, whew. And Kyle Glaser said it today. It is not sustainable. You cannot consistently win games with this offense. It doesn't matter if you're pitching freaking Steve Carlton and Cy Young and Clayton Kershaw and Sandy Koufax in their primes and Jake Peavy. It's not going to fly. Matthew, thank you. He might have called in today, Matthew, because I remember this a call about Mike Rizzo. He says, John isn't beholden to AJ. New people in charge always want their own people in charge. Rizzo, if Padres miss the playoffs, then AJ out is serious conversation. We're a long way from there. They have 72 games left.
Yeah.
If they miss the playoffs, we can certainly have a conversation about AJ Preller. But first things first, they would have to miss the playoffs, and hopefully that doesn't happen.
I think the conversation is definitely there if they miss the postseason. Because how could you not have a conversation about the general manager who was going into his final year of his contract, did not get re-upped after last year, and just missed the postseason once again? Like, how could you not have that conversation? Is where I would come from. Do I think AJ Preller would get fired at the end of the year if they missed the postseason? No, I don't. But I mean, if you don't give him a contract extension, are we just supposed to not have that conversation? I mean, that'd be kind of like, it's just, it'd be irresponsible to not have that conversation if they miss the postseason and they don't re-up AJ. If you're not going to re-up AJ after last season, why would you re-up him after this season if they miss the postseason? Would be my question.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a fair question and conversation for the time is what I would say. You know what I mean?
Right. Not right now. Not right now.
Oh my gosh.
Can we do it?
I can't deal with StreamYard, dude. Hold on. Can you just put Mark down there and pull it up after this super? Adam, thank you, man. He says, how do you guys feel about Tatis being an all-star? I mean, I agree with Jim. I mean, we said it pretty politely over the last 24 hours, last night on the wrap-up show, today on John and Jim. We said it maybe more bluntly a few minutes ago. I mean, I don't think he deserves it. I mean, I'm not going to kick and scream. Like, I'm glad he made the team. But is he deserving of making the team? I mean, let's be honest. If you're watching like we're all watching, he's been mid for way too long. Doesn't look like an all-star to me. I mean, doesn't look like a confident player. He doesn't look like a winning player. He doesn't even look close to an all-star, truthfully, right now. So it is what it is. His numbers support it, Jim, to some extent. His numbers support it to some extent. But you said it today. It's like, this guy ain't hitting 30 home runs. I mean, with the pace he's on here recently, it's like, is he going to hit 24? I mean, I hope he hits 30, but it seems unlikely based on the way he's playing right now.
Dude, he booked a trip for next week. That's all you need to know about it. He didn't even think he was going to be an all-star. He was just like, wait, me? I mean, it's a great accomplishment to be an all-star and be voted by your peers as one. Don't get me like that's probably the best thing that could have happened for him is like, oh, my peers think I'm great. Like, maybe hopefully his confidence goes up. No greater accomplishment to have than being voted by your peers as one of the best players in the sport. But don't get it twisted. Yeah, he booked the trip. Okay, so he did not think he was going to be an all-star. It's if you're a Padres fan, that's awesome that he is one, and then he blocked Andy Paez from being an all-star. But if you are just looking at it objectively and taking off your Padres fandom hat for a second, that he did not deserve to be an all-star over guys like Juan Soto. But it is what it is, and I'm not going to complain about it. Like, oh, he should not be an all-star. Like, no, he's an all-star. And, while I think he should not have been, he is one. And cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, we're going to get back to the conversation. Do want to remind you about our title sponsor here on the Wrap Up Show, Mark Nimitz, Farmers Insurance. He's been with us since day one, 4 years of the Wrap Up Show. Thank you, Mark, for your longtime support of the channel. Trust us because we've done business with him for forever. And I've got 3 insurance policies through him, homeowners, life, and earthquake, that if you have any insurance need, including auto, let Mark take care of you. He's going to save you money. He's going to save you time as well if you ever need him. I needed him in 2022. We filed a claim. He saved us thousands of dollars, dozens of hours of time when we were out of our house for a couple of weeks. He took care of everything. If you ever need him, big or small, he will be there for you. He is a lifelong Padres fan, a native San Diegan. Click the link in the description down below. You can get free quotes online. Call Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres. He'll talk to you about saving money on your insurance as well. So if you support this channel, please support our title sponsor. He's been with us since day one. Before you renew your insurance policy, get in contact with Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information is on that ticker down below, and Nimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
All right, let's get back to this conversation. Padres fall to the Diamondbacks 6-3. Subscribe, and thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box like JD's third. Thank you, man, for the super. He says we miss Merrill Madness. Merrill Midness, M-I-D, Midness is hard to watch and stomach. Manny solo home runs are like clockwork. 0 offense for 3 months. Sell, please, not 2024. I mean,
dude, they're not selling.
I don't even know what sell. Okay, hear me out, Jim. Let's just fast forward. They suck for the next 17 games. It's not going to happen. But let's just say they went 6-11, right? And now they're selling. I'm just making it up. 5-12. They're selling. Just bear with me. What are you selling off? I mean, what's your big piece? Dylan Cease is a rental. Michael King's hurt. Robert Torres, who makes $10 million and has been mid. Like, what's your big sell-off piece if you were sellers at the deadline?
All right, I got a couple names.
Okay.
Number 1, Dylan Cease. That's kind of like the easy no-brainer. Mm-hmm. This is only if they're selling, which, by the way, they're not. Okay.
Entertaining the super chat.
Yeah, entertaining the super chat. Dylan Cease, number 1. Number 2, Adrian Morejon. Number that's probably it. That's all I can think of.
Morejon's interesting because he's only under control for 1 more year, but man, he's been elite. Be interesting. Yeah. I don't know what kind of returns you get for a 7th inning guy who's been amazing.
Look at what they got. Look at what the Rays got for Jason Adam last year.
You're right.
Look at what the Marlins got for Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing last year. If you have you're not going to get like somebody's top prospect or anything like that, but you could get a couple pieces that maybe turn into something. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Rarely do you see relievers be traded for players that end up turning out to be all-stars, right? But if I'm just going off of who on this team you could trade at the deadline and get pretty good haul back for, you could definitely get a good haul back for Dylan Cease. And I think if you traded Suarez and you traded Morejon, you can get some nice pieces back as well. Those are the 3 guys at the deadline. If they were to trade at the deadline, those are the 3 guys that if I'm Preller, I would absolutely be calling on to move. But again, they're not selling. They are firmly buying unless they lose like their next 15 in a row.
Yeah, I don't see it I just don't. I mean, they've been good enough at home. They should not go 1-5 over their next 6 games, for example, at home. But crazier things have happened.
It has before.
I mean, it is sports. I mean, crazier things have absolutely happened, but I'm not anticipating that, even based on tonight. El Duderino, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys coming on after most games and giving voices to the same concerns we all share. Appreciate you, man. Very kind of you to say. And that's kind of the point of the channel. When it's good, we're here for you. When it's bad, we're here for you, or in between, in season or out of season, with real time reaction for Padres fans. It's obviously gained a ton of traction over the years. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what would you be doing tonight if you weren't reacting to this Padres game? Like, how frustrating of a game is this? You're trying to do this in silence, alone, react to this thing, or just do it on X? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, we all share the same experience. We're watching this. It ain't right. It's not 2023 not right, Jim, where we're like, like this ain't it. And they're like, the vibes are wrong. It's just not right because technically it's not right. Their offense doesn't
Yeah.
jive. Like, it is not right. It's not that you have the wrong people like in a clubhouse, not a clubhouse thing, I don't think.
No.
I think it's you don't have the right formula of a lineup, AJ Preller. So go give yourself a better chance to formulaically make this better. Just go upgrade the pieces that you have to upgrade and do it sooner rather than later and see if that helps alleviate these problems.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the vibes are off. I mean, the vibes are definitely not there as far as what we saw last year.
Right.
And it changes every single year. I mean, to have people, if you expected last year's team and the run in the second half to just like carry over for the entirety of the 2025 season, I got some bad news for you. It carried over for the first month, and then it just nosedived. I don't think Shilty loves to say these guys, the effort's there, the try is there, they try really hard. Like, well, they should. They're major leaguers and they're getting paid millions of dollars. So they should absolutely be trying and they should absolutely care. Because if you don't, then kick them the hell off the team. 2023, they quit. They just for whatever reason, they didn't like each other in the clubhouse and they quit. In games that they went down 1-0, they just had a defeatist mindset. This team, I feel like they're just almost trying too hard. They're trying so hard and they're not coming through, and something has to change. There has to be some type of shakeup. I thought it was going to happen with the lineup change, but that's just like rearranging chairs in the Titanic. Things always going to sink unless these guys start producing. You need to add some pieces to this team, and you need to subtract pieces of this team that are weighing this team down. And then after doing that, you're going to need your players that are still remaining here to produce. Those guys need to produce along with the new people they bring in. It's not just going to be fixed overnight if they make one or two trades and they replace a catcher and their DH. Because if Jackson Merrill's going to continue to suck, if Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to continue to suck, if Xander Bogart is going to continue to suck, if, you're not going to go anywhere. You might win a couple extra games, but is that going to fix your problems? No, the problems lie in the top of your lineup with Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis Jr., along with the middle of the lineup with Xander Bogaerts and at times Jake Cronenworth, even though I think for what you're asking of Jake, he's been fine. We talked about the other night. And then your bench and your depth are just god awful.
But other than that,
it's fine.
They got serious problems with their offense right now, and it's not fixed with Taylor Ward or Luis Robert. It's maybe a part of a solution, but it's fixed by Jackson Merrill hitting and Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting. Right. Daniel, thank you. He says, who we think we getting during the All-Star break? Well, there won't be any trades during the All-Star break. There never are.
Right.
But after the All-Star break, things are getting real. I mean, they're going to get real. Do I anticipate something before the All-Star break? It's hard to say that even with what's going on with the offense. It's definitely possible. But I'm not anticipating it. But I am after the All-Star break. You better believe it. I think those 72 hours before July 31st, I mean, I'm on high alert. And sometimes you think it's going to happen sooner than it does. You're sitting around the 28th, like, what's going on? And then you start getting some rumors on the 29th in movement. But sometimes, it takes till the 29th or 30th or even the 31st. So, yeah, I'm anticipating movement. I'm anticipating upgrades. Preller said it. He showed us his hand. He was on MLB Network Radio and said they want a bat or two. I mean, that's very telling for him to say that in early July. So stay tuned because upgrades are coming, barring a complete collapse over the next 3 weeks.
Yep. That they're going to make multiple moves. Be prepared. because they are not selling. I don't think there's a world. I just don't believe that they're going to sell. I just don't. I think this team is going to buy, and they should have tried to upgrade these positions a long time ago. Like, how could you possibly honestly think that these moves that you made with Bryce Johnson and Trenton Brooks and Jose Iglesias and Elias Diaz and Martin Maldonado and Tyler Wade were going to seriously work for you? I mean, come on, you needed to hit the eject button the second they're like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let's get to more of these super chats, guys. If you're here, subscribe. You're on content for you. And again, smash that like button and appreciate those super chats. Click the dollar sign below the chat box and subscribe to this channel. Dylan Yee, thank you. He says, sell to build for next year and AJ's even year magic. I mean, the odd even thing, I'll say this. It was always funny and haha, and I don't believe one iota of it unless they miss the postseason this year. Like if they actually miss the postseason this year and they're out in 19, 21, 23, 25 and in 20, 22, 24, like that's kind of insanity. There's no even year magic. There's no odd year unluckiness. It just each year is unique into its own itself. 2024 ain't here right now, and this doesn't mean it's 2023 either. I don't think it's 2024. I don't think it's 2023. I mean, they're their own unique beast for whatever that's worth. But I think it has nothing to do with even odd. It's kind of bizarre how that's played out.
It's just how the sport goes, and frankly, it's how all sports go. It's really hard to put, back to back seasons of just like really good baseball together consistently. It's just hard to do that, to recapture the magic you had last season. I mean, I already knew going into this year they weren't going to be able to recapture that. It was a moment in time that you had an opportunity where, you were the best team and you were favored to win the World Series, and then you completely choked it away. And who knows when that moment will come again. But to just think that this team could rebottle what they accomplished in the second half last year and then just have it happen again. I mean, come on, man, that's a lot of wishful thinking right there. And again, with all that being said, I will say there is still time to prove me 100% wrong there and have an amazing second half. Second half shield, right?
Second half. Sure.
But I'm not banking on it. I'm not counting on it, guys, because I'm a realist. And I mean, they're going to have to really flip this switch here from being one of the worst offenses in baseball for the last 2.5 months to, can they just be like top 12? I mean, if they're top 12 in offense, they're a 90+ win team.
They won't be top 12 in offense. The difference, here's the thing. I'm not, to your point, they could prove us wrong or you wrong. I'm not willing to say that they can't do what they did last year because I know the randomness of the postseason. You see what I'm saying? Right. Like, I don't think there's no world where they're going 43-19 over a 62-game stretch. There, I said it. Prove me wrong. They're not doing it. Their August is way tougher than it was last year. There's no 43-19. They likely don't need to do that because they're likely 8 games over 500 when last year they were a 500 team. But yeah, they're not going 43-19. But could they make a wild card series and win that series? Could they take on, I'm making this up. I mean, it's impossible to say, is my point. Could they play the Dodgers and beat them in a 5-game series? I get it. We watched the first 2 series this year, but I'm watching the Dodgers team that's lost 4 straight and been outscored by 31 runs in those 4 games and lost one of those games like 50-0. So I just don't know is my point. It's too early for me to say that I can predict if they make the postseason what happens in the postseason, but I'm with you. I don't think the indicators are good. They suck against good teams. That's not a good indicator. And their offense is nowhere near as good as it was last year. That's not a good indicator. So I agree with your indicators. Just to me, there's a randomness of the postseason. So it's hard to make strong statements when it comes to the baseball postseason.
Yeah. First things first, getting King back, making sure Darvish stays healthy. We haven't even talked about Darvish tonight.
We will.
And if those 2 things happen, if Darvish stays healthy and you get Michael King back and Michael King looks like Michael King, you give yourself a chance. You give yourself a chance. But if those things don't happen and the offense continues to be the way it is going to be a struggle for this team for the rest of the year. Even if they make the postseason, it will be a struggle for this team. They gotta figure out a way to be much better offensively. If that's not going to happen, then this team is going to be struggling, and every other night it's going to be like you want to pull your hair out if you're a Padres fan. And that's how it's felt, because when you're a 500 team, every loss feels like the worst thing in the world, and every win feels like you turned a corner. And that's what this team is.
Yeah. The funny thing is they're well below 500 for the last 2 months, and they're actually well above 500 for the year. I mean, 48 and 42 is not a bad record. It's really not.
Well, that 14-3 start has really carried them all the way here.
100%. And then since then, they've been well under 500. So it's just weird. Jeff, appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out. And thank you for the super check. Click the $ below the chat box. He says Padres offense almost as bad as my luck on Hinge. That's hilarious.
Don't worry.
Worse.
If it worked for me, it can work for you, Jeff.
Did you meet? Is that how you met Aaron?
That's how I met Aaron, was on Hinge.
Wow. Dude, you should bring that to our sales team. Maybe they'll get you an endorsement. That's great.
I have a better chance of like flying to the moon.
Agreed. JD's third thank you says, are we going all in selling Salas and DeVries? I mean, obviously not. Obviously not. Obviously not. I mean, they could, if they went 15-2 over the next 17 games, you wouldn't trade away Salas and DeVries just to go further all in. Like you have to have some semblance of the future. I mean, AJ Preller said this on MLB Network Radio. I mean, he mentioned that you have to weigh two things. You have to weigh your team, and you have to weigh your future team. You can't only weigh your team. You can't throw completely caution to the wind. I mean, we all want to do that, like playing video games or talking on the wrap-up show. But, I mean, you have to be a general manager. I don't think you can just say, screw it. I might not be here in a year or two. Trade everyone away. So, no, I don't think they're trading those two players away.
Is there a Juan Soto type of player out there on the market right now? And are you a hitter away? I mean, we were asked the question.
Going anywhere.
No, yeah, Acuna's not. We were asked a question last night, and I thought it was like a really fun question to ask. Is like, if you can add one player in baseball other than Ohtani and Judge, who would you add? You said Tariq Skubal or Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
Would you change your mind after watching this offense again?
No way.
Really?
I just think the starting pitching is way more valuable. You got to score, but that's like cliche. I mean, of course you have to score. They had a good offense last year. They didn't score.
Yeah.
But I'm taking starting pitching. I just think starting pitching is too valuable. I know the Dodgers won a World Series last year without starting pitching, but I think the track record says the more starters you have that are effective, the better off you are.
Yeah, I mean, Tariq Skubal or Paul Skeens in this rotation would be
ridiculous. Sick. They're both sub-2 ERA guys. I mean, it's absurd. But I get your point. I mean, listen, if I could just plug in, I don't know, to give me, who was the hitter you mentioned last night? If you could plug in Cal Raleigh at catcher, of course, that's massive. It's massive. It could have ridiculous dividends. But is Cal Raleigh here? Let me give you a hypothetical. You're in the postseason facing Paul Skeens. Is Cal Raleigh winning you that matchup, or is Paul Skeens winning you that matchup? I know he's not in the postseason. You get my point. Or Tariq Skubal. It's the World Series. It's Skubal, and now you have Cal Raleigh. Who would you rather have? I'd rather have Skubal.
It's the World Series, and Tariq Skubal's pitching. Would you rather have Bryce Johnson or Cal Raleigh?
Exactly.
That's
exactly right.
Like hey, good pitching always beats good hitting. For the most part, I get that. But,
not always, but yeah.
I mean, you got to at least give yourself a shot. And if you have Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz and Bryce Johnson up there, you have no shot.
I agree. I completely agree. All right, we're going to get back to the conversation. We're going to talk about Yu Darvish as well. But before we do that, we do want to remind you about a great offer going on right now, thanks to our friends over at SeatGeek. If you use the promo code PODSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP, you're getting $20 off your first order of $50 or more. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code PADSWRAP. Just click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. We do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. Look at this. For tomorrow night, you can get inside Petco Park. You can do it for about $50 a ticket. This is in
Mhm.
section 116. You
Yeah.
can sit in section 116 for about $50 a ticket tomorrow, game 2 of the series downtown, summertime in San Diego, and then use the promo code, take $20 off 2 tickets for $80 with the promo code. So take advantage of that. Check out SeatGeek for Padres, SDFC, Aztecs, concerts, events, and more in San Diego. And make sure to click that link and use the promo code PADSWRAP.
Yeah, SeatGeek is MLB's official ticket marketplace, so your tickets are fully downloadable and instantly guaranteed once you check out. Just use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. And as you see there on the screen, there's green dots and red dots. Green means good, red means bad. So look for the green dots. Everything's on a 1 to 10 scale. Green means good, red means bad. Use our promo code PODSWRAP when you get your tickets at checkout.
I would say this on Darvish. And again, if you're here, subscribe. And if you're here, thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. This is what I would say on Darvish. How could you ask for more? And it was encouraging, hopefully, if he feels like himself on the other side.
Mhm.
There were moments he looked great. First inning, 10 pitches. Um, he got out of some jams in the second and third specifically, was first forced to work. Like he had a 20-something pitch second inning in
Yeah.
there. And then he got yanked at 63 pitches in the fourth inning with 2 outs. I thought overall encouraging. Absolutely. I thought there was rust. He hasn't pitched in forever, but he looked like Yu Darvish to me by and large. I think we both said, I think I said 4 innings, 2 runs. You said 5 innings, 2 runs. I said, that's kind of who he was. 3 and 2 third innings, 2 runs, a couple of walks were in there, a couple of strikeouts in there as well. But listen, if he's healthy on the other side, Jim, it's the biggest win in the world. And if he's not, it's a massive loss. But I thought overall, what we saw on the mound was relatively encouraging.
I would have liked to seen him finish off the fourth inning.
Yeah, me too.
He was at 63 pitches?
Yep.
I'm not going to complain because I think Yuki Matsui came in, one pitch, got the out, inning was over. But the real test now is, how does he feel? And if he feels really good, and he makes his next start, then that's great. Everything's great. But if something pops up, then that's when you go, oh god, here we go again. So I agree. I mean, could you have got more out of him tonight? Maybe he could have worked into the fifth inning, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say that, I wanted to see more from Yu Darvish tonight, because when he's making his first start after an injury, and it's a pretty fragile one, and you got to treat him with kid gloves, and you don't want to push him in his first start back after his long absence. So hopefully after tonight, he feels better, because the real test is tomorrow and the next day, and then his bullpen. And then once he gets back on the mound for his second start and everything's okay, then you can have a sigh of relief. But now it's a little bit of like, okay, I got to hold my breath here and make sure that the next 4 days, there's nothing that goes wrong with Yu Darvish. And then when he's back out there, what is it, Saturday, I think he's scheduled to pitch, and he's back on the mound and he starts throwing again, then you can let out a sigh of relief until, further notice. But all in all, he had some good stuff. The first inning was, phenomenal. He could not have asked for better first inning from him. But then you saw a little bit of a rust there from Yu Darvish, and that's expected. He hasn't pitched in forever. So hopefully he stays healthy coming out of this first start.
And I was wondering how he would fare. Kind of like, I don't even know if this analogy makes sense, but I think it does for his first couple of outings. Like he was in those controlled environments. So now that he's not, what's it going to be like when he sits back down and has to stay warm and get back up on the mound? Like that to me is the biggest telltale sign. Like a boxer, it's like you can look good for a round.
Right.
What happens as you work deeper into a match? And I think it's the same thing a little bit with Yu Darvish. And he was effective enough. Again, he limited damage. It could have been a lot worse in the second and third innings. He was able to limit damage. He did say post game, because I have the article here from Kevin, that this is from the translator. I think it feels good to be back. A little bit nervous going back in there, but it's definitely good to be back. And also, of course, they got the news today, Jim, that Michael King is beginning his throwing program. Essentially, he is on the road, barring setbacks, to get back to the major leagues at some point in August. That's what Kevin Acee is reporting. So the process does begin. I think Kevin said what you said, which is he'd be surprised if it was before mid-August. I'm sure Michael King thinks he could get back sooner than that, but I doubt the organization does. So Michael King begins the road back from this nerve injury. And I guess theoretically, the best case scenario is he's back at some point in August.
That's probably, like you said, the best case scenario. And they have no shot if they do not have Michael King. It's pretty simple, unless their offense turns into the 27 Yankees. But that's not happening. And even then, you're going to need pitching to get you through the postseason. But again, first they got to get there. So we're looking way far ahead. But just knowing the importance of Michael King, you have no shot without him. None. Sorry, you don't. I would feel a lot better about their chances with a healthy Michael King in this rotation. And hopefully we can get to a point in the season where they do have a rotation of Pivetta, Cease, King, and Darvish in whatever order, because that was the plan coming out of spring training.
Yeah.
Hey, they picked up Nick Pivetta. They got their fourth starter, which is what they needed because of the injury to Joe Musgrove. And now heading into the season, you got 4 legitimate starters. And you know how much time we spent on who would be the 5th starter? Like, we spent like 2 months on it. And the players that were in consideration to be the 5th starter are like pitching all of them are pitching every 5th day. Not just one of them, all of them. So, that just shows you what has happened to this rotation over the course of this season. And that was never the plan. So hopefully going into the middle of August, you get back Michael King, Darvish will be healthy. Cease, I mean, who the hell knows? Hopefully he turns it around, but he's just had an awful year. And then Nick Pivetta has been as solid for you, as solid as you could have asked for Nick Pivetta. But they have no shot without Michael King.
You just reminded me of something like the basketball version of what you just said. How basically the Padres are at a point where they haven't had the totality of their rotation, and we're 90 games into the year. It's like if the Warriors don't have, like, how many games they play with Klay Thompson and Steph and KD and Draymond Green. Like, if you don't play together, it's like, well, we'll get it back in the postseason and hopefully it'll just click. But there's years where it's like, yeah, maybe that works for some teams, and for other teams it doesn't. I get it. It's different. It's baseball. It's not basketball. But think about it. 90 games into your year, you haven't had those 4 in the rotation at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be how long? Because now we're waiting on King. So now you're going to be 110 games into your year for even a chance to have those 4 in the rotation. So I guess I'm asking, what are the odds that we get to October 1st and the Padres in the playoff, and those 4 are healthy and firing? I hope to see it. I hope to see it.
Speaking of odds, what are the odds of sleeping on your shoulder wrong and missing 2.5, 3 months?
Yeah, that's certainly not what transpired with the injury. It's
like
much more than that.
Like legitimate odds. What do you think the odds are? 1 in how many thousand?
For a player, for a young person with training staffs that are in the major leagues, way beyond 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100,000. I mean, for a 30-year-old male with training staffs to be in peak physical condition, to do actual nerve damage that is more than like a 24-hour stinger, seems to me like a 1 in a million. We've all dealt with that. So as you get older, everyone here has slept wrong in their bed and be like, my neck is killing me. I can't turn around to look to change lanes. It's the worst thing in the world, right? And that feeling. But I mean, I'm 45 and in like the worst shape ever. And I've never had it for more than 4 days of my life. And I've never seen any training staff or gotten treatment on it ever. So to me, that's much more than just how he slept. There obviously was something in there that had to do with his regimen, training, something, pitching, right? That played a role. There's just no way. Yeah,
it's hard for me to believe it. It just, I can't. I'm sorry. You can't tell me with a straight face that you slept wrong in Atlanta and you fucked up your season. I don't know, man. Whatever. And apparently he slept fine the last 2 months or the last month and a half, right?
It's a good point. And what do you do to prevent it from happening again?
Yeah.
I mean, you sleep like a mummy? I don't
like
even
you
know.
strap yourself down so you don't move in your sleep? Like,
I don't know. It's a bizarre story, and you're right. I mean, and Kevin said the same thing today. There's no There's no getting where you want to go without Michael King. I mean, Michael King has been their true horse the last 2 years. Sub 3 ERA combined in 40 plus starts. You know, Pavetta's had a nice year, but there's been some blowups in there, and Cease hasn't been trustworthy and has not been trustworthy ever in his career in the postseason ever. And
You
then
signed-
Yu Darvish, he's been listen. Yu Darvish in the postseason, I love my chances, but he's got to be there. I mean, am I counting on him today to be capable of making 2 starts in a 5-game series and going 7+ innings in those 2? I mean, it's just so wishful to hope that we get there with Yu Darvish, and he looks like he did in even Game 5 of the NLDS last year.
The thing is, like, you signed Nick Pivetta to be your number 4 starter, not your number 1.
Right.
And for a number 4 starter, Nick Pivetta's had a fantastic year. I mean, imagine if this rotation was healthy and Nick Pivetta was doing exactly what he was doing right now. You'd be like, dude, this is amazing.
Right.
But it's not the case. So
No, it's not. We do want to remind you guys about our friends over at. That doesn't really look great, but whatever. Do you want to pull up? Do you want to pull up the Underdog website for me? See if you can pull it up.
Hold on.
While Jim pulls that up, I remind you to subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe. We have year-round content for Padres fans, in season and out of season. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X at John Schaefer at Jim Russell SD. You can't do it.
I don't have my login. I forget my login.
It's all good. It can be troublesome to log into sometimes as well with like location services. Here's the deal with Underdog. If you use the promo code in the link down below, you're getting a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. All right. 50% deposit match up to $1,000. In addition, they're giving you a free gimme pick. You know how simple and easy it is to win with those gimme picks. I'll show you here. You can win up to 1,000 times your money in a single night. All you do is choose higher or lower. Simple, easy. You know, higher or lower than a half home run, higher or lower than 1.5 total bases, higher or lower than 15.5 points for Caitlin Clark, so on and so forth. I mean, you can win 1,000 times your money in a single night just by picking higher or lower. You get the 50% deposit match up to $1,000 plus the free gimme pick. Click that link in the description down below and use our promo code. Support the channel, PADSWRAP. That's promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP.
And if you scan the QR code above my head here, they'll take you to the Underdog Fantasy app. Download it. Use our promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Start playing, and hopefully you win some money.
Now, here is Carlos, by the way. Now, is it true that Carlos had a ticket for you tonight to Petco Park to watch Manny Machado's 2000th hit?
He did. I had already plans tonight, and he texted me at, I think it was like 5 p.m. I'm like, I don't think I could swing this with an hour to go until first pitch. So I appreciate you, Carlos. Next time, buddy. Next time. Give me a little more heads up next time.
You missed history because he went to watch 2000 hits.
It would not have happened if I was there, by the way.
Probably true. He would have gone over for 12. But he says, team has no life. 7, 8, 9 are a liability. I am pissed. Merrill is lost. Can't stay away from high cheese. It's true. I mean, he's swinging and missing so much. And it's true. He's chasing pitches out of the zone.
Yeah.
We haven't. The funny thing is, by the way, and we should at least touch on it for a minute or two further, is we've barely touched on Machado. I mean,
I know.
In terms of the accomplishment, I mean, it really is an accomplishment. He turned 33 yesterday. He's got 2001 hits. And he's put together this all-star, starting all-star year. He's got 2,000 hits, 350 home runs. He's one of 11 to do it in age 32 season. Everyone's in the Hall of Fame other than A-Rod because Pujols and Miggy are in. So, I mean, it's crazy. It is kind of crazy. And they talked about it. I forget when they talked about it. Oh, it was Schulte postgame. It's like the whole thing changed in 2019 when they signed Machado. It's true. In terms of an interest level and the fan base and the city, it's true. It all changed when they signed him. We were all here when it happened.
Yep.
And everything has changed since Manny got here. Now they got to go finish the job and win.
Yeah, people that claim that things changed when they signed Hosmer. No, it changed when they signed Manny Machado. Hosmer's contract, Manny's contract, compared to Hosmer's contract, $300 million, 10 years, $300 million. Yeah, that changes a franchise. That puts you at the big boy table, and that signals to all your fan base, hey, we are now going to attempt to win. That's all you can ask as a fan base. All you can ask is for your favorite team and their ownership and franchise to commit to winning. So, I mean, imagine being a Pittsburgh Pirate fan right now. They would die for them to go out and make a big time move, but they never will because they're cheap and they're an awful run organization. Here in San Diego, when Peter Seidler took over, and he didn't even take over until 2020, but he pushed for the Manny Machado deal. Without him, the Machado deal does not get done. And he put this team and his franchise at the big boy table, and that's all you can ask. And kind of just let the chips fall where they may, but at least he put expectations on this franchise, because for the longest time there was none. I mean, it was just a wasteland. And Padres win, yay. Padres lose, who cares? Now it's not that at all. It's they win, and now it's like, well, how did they win? Did they win in the way that I wanted them to win? And the expectations have gone through the roof. And that's where you want to be as a sports fan. You want the expectations to be high, because if there's no expectations, there's no point in watching. And this team has those expectations. So guess what? You watch every night.
That's where, to your point, man, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, that's where I hate when the season ends. Like, who cares that we lost in 5 to the Dodgers? 10 years ago, they were never playing the Dodgers.
Dumb argument to
hold
have.
on. So let me get this straight. You're content with having a 2-1 lead in the NLDS and then having the whole thing just unravel at the height of the season with everything on the line, playing for ultimately an NLCS berth or maybe a World Series berth or winning World Series. Well, but it was 10 years ago they weren't doing it. Okay. Stop. And that makes you feel better at night. It doesn't. It makes me feel worse, truthfully. Carlos following up by saying no Hosmer, no Machado, only positive from that. Oh, interesting. He's saying without Hosmer, they don't land Machado. I don't know, man, because they still had the biggest check. And I don't know if it mattered. Maybe it mattered. Maybe that they were kind of pointed in a different direction. But I don't know. I thought the $300 million talked.
Yeah, no one was offering him $300 million, by the way. He was ready to go to the freaking White Sox, guys, until the Padres up their offer at $300 million. Think about that. He was ready to go to the Chicago White Sox.
Right.
But then the Padres said, here's $300 million, because the White Sox were only offering $250.
So Chicago White Sox. I mean, as anemic of an organization as it gets, second in your own city.
Here's just listen to this list, though, that Manny Machado now joins, because it's a crazy list. Players with 2,000 hits and 350 homers by the end of their age 32 season: Hank Aaron, Jimmy Fox, Lou Gehrig, Ken Griffey Jr., Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Mel Ott, Frank Robinson, Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, and now Manny Machado. Those are all Hall of Famers. Say what you want about A-Rod, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best players in the sport ever seen. Like, all Hall of Famers right there. And now Manny Machado joins that list. That's crazy.
Insane. Yeah, and everyone will be in, other than A-Rod for now. But and he's obviously on field a Hall of Famer, 100%. 100%. Carlos following up. Thank you, man. He says, Campy needs to be back better than this shit. We've said it earlier. I went on this diatribe about it. I don't think it saves you, but it can't be worse than what we're watching. I mean, what we're watching and what played out tonight, if we really did the deep dive in terms of what played out tonight and how many chances they had late in this game, was as bad as you're going to find. It was really, really, really bad. I mean, just bad situational hitting and team baseball and at bats. And I mean, you talk about proverbial on the ropes. They brought some reliever, and I have no clue who he was. Murillo? I forget. Throwing 100, he couldn't hit the side of a barn.
No command.
Mean, ball. You're walking freaking like Maldonado. You know what I mean? You're walking at everyone, yet the Padres can't come through and cash in on anything. You are gifted. It's silver platter stuff. And you're at home, and it's a bad bullpen, and nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Just pathetic.
Jose Iglesias is not going to get left off the hook tonight. I mean, that was an awful at bat as well.
He popped out
to short. Yeah, you can see it happen. You could see that at bat in those two at bats from a mile away.
The Iglesias one was awful because there's back-to-back walks. He's 1-0. He swings at a 1-0 fastball up and pops down the infield for an infield fly roll. I mean, that's truly even worse. I mean, the thing is, I expect nothing from Diaz Maldonado. I expect something from Iglesias. Yeah. And to have that type of AB in that spot was just awful.
Look, here's the moves I'm making if I'm AJ Preller. I'm calling up Luis Campusano tomorrow. Okay. I'm sending down Bryce Johnson. I'm letting Campy be your DH for the next 15 games. And then at the deadline, I'm making 2 moves for a bat. I'm DFAing either Jose Iglesias or Martin Maldonado or Elias Diaz. Like, I'm getting rid of those, 2 of those 3 guys. Hopefully you go out and get a catcher. Campy can catch, so I'm not like really worried about that. And you need another bat. So bring up Campy, send down Bryce Johnson, go get another bat, go get another catcher, DFA some guys that need to be DFA'd and they should have been DFA'd a long time ago, and move on, dude. Why are we holding on to these guys? Why is this team holding on to Diaz and Maldonado like they're the greatest catching tandem in the history of the sport? Enough is enough.
I think 29th, we said, in B War, or just War in general from their catchers this year, maybe 28th. It was 28th. Somehow Baltimore was worse.
Well, the 2 teams that are worse than the Padres, I want to say they're not contenders, right?
No, it might have been Colorado and Baltimore. It's definitely Baltimore.
Is it? I don't
They're
think
not.
Colorado. It's Baltimore and
and someone else.
like the White Sox or something.
Maybe the White Sox.
But they're not contenders, so who gives a shit?
No, you're right, 100%. Baltimore thought they'd be a contender, but Carlos, thanks, man. He says, BJ, Lockridge, Brooks, this is a joke. They're better free agents than those bums. Can't wait until deadline for upgrades. Team is full of streaky hitters. Pissed. I mean, I get that consensus. I mean, that's the consensus of the fan base, and I would agree with that sentiment. I think from AJ's seat, he's like, we're 48 and 42. Like, you don't have to, like, he doesn't have to stay up all night working the phones. I mean, he probably is. He's probably sending off those emails and working the phones and sending off some texts. I just don't know that just because your offense struggles, I don't know if that means you're going to go pry someone loose from the Boston Red Sox tomorrow, or Minnesota Twins or whatever. So I get the point. He will act. It's just got to be in the appropriate time. It's much easier, I think, July 29th than it is probably July 7th or 8th. But I get it. I get the sentiment. I don't want to see it either. I do not want to watch this for the next 20 games. I certainly don't want to watch it for the next 72 games if this is what we're going to be watching.
Well, we might be forced to watch it for the next 20 games because I don't know, man. It's almost like, why are you waiting? Like, go make a move.
Dude, tango theory, I guess.
I get that. I get it.
If you call up the Nationals, they're like, hold on, man, we want more offers. It's like if you
get
multiple offers on a home,
Yeah, I know. I get it, but that's AJ's fault then, because he put this team in this position, and he has to wear it for the time being until teams are willing to budge. Do you have any Padres hats? I do have a Padres hat. Here you go. There.
Do you have any Bryce Johnson hats?
Bro.
Do you have any Bryce Johnson hats?
You couldn't pay me to wear a Bryce Johnson jersey.
What about like Elias Diaz, Martin Maldonado split jersey?
Well, I mean, you could actually pay me to wear a Bryce Johnson jersey because I would do a lot of things for money.
I'll wear it for money.
Yeah,
including a Packers jersey. Our producer says he won't wear a Packers jersey.
Which is like, I'm sorry, he doesn't watch it. It's dumb, bro. Dumbest fucking thing ever, dude.
He says he would do it for $10 million. I'll freaking come on the show for $10 million and wear a Dodgers freaking jersey for $10 million.
In a second.
I promise you.
I'll say Shohei Ohtani.
Right. We'll say anything.
I'll say whatever.
Come on.
$10 million?
Stop.
Everybody in the chat right now watching too would wear a Dodgers jersey for $10 million.
I hope so. You're going to freaking support generations of
$10 million? $10 million? $10 million and you wouldn't wear. Come on, man.
Yeah. And groceries. Carlos, thank you. Says Iglesias needs to stick to music. Mr. Worldwide. Did that song come out or not?
I hope not.
That Schulte was talking about?
Because the last thing you want to do is release a song when you're have an OPS of what, 580?
Yeah, God. Hitting 200. What happened to last year's Iglesias? Where's that like 400 hitter?
He's back in New York. Iglesias this year's OPS is 540. And he's releasing like songs.
It's 540?
540, dude.
Well, how's that compare to Maldonado and Diaz and Bryce? What are the OPSs of the worst 6 hitters on his team.
All right, ready?
Lockridge's, the Bryce Johnsons, the Diaz's, the Maldonados, the Iglesias.
Listen to the bottom of the lineup tonight. This is great. Trenton Brooks, 584 OPS. Jose Iglesias, who pinch hit for Trenton Brooks, had a worse OPS at 540. So you pinch hit a guy with a 540 OPS, or sorry, you pinch hit a guy with a 540 OPS, replacing a guy with a 584 OPS. Then Martin Maldonado has a 528 OPS, and you pinch hit a guy that has a 589 OPS. And then Bryce Johnson, if I'm just looking at Bryce Johnson here, hold on. Where is he? I don't think it's awful because he doesn't have like that many at bats, but
it can't be good.
Here, roster. Let's see here. So Tyler Wade, he's got
is he still around?
He's got a 577 OPS. And then Bryce Johnson he's got a very respectable 764 OPS, but he has only 16 at bats.
He's got like 4 ABs.
Give him another 20 at bats. That OPS will be down in the 500s as well.
Wait, did you mention who else?
That's it.
I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the crew.
Yeah, Bryce Johnson, Trenton Brooks, Jose Iglesias, Martin Maldonado, and Elias Diaz.
Don't give me the magic bullet with Trenton Brooks, by the way.
Don't tell me that you think Bryce Johnson can hit a home run either. Come on. Stop.
Yeah, he's hit like once in Sam Houston State. He's actually hit more than that, to be fair. But he's not here to hit home runs. And that's why Mike Schultz shouldn't be talking about him hitting home runs. He's never going to hit a home run. And that's not why he's here. All right. That's it, right? We're done.
We're done.
The team's not done. We're done. All right. Subscribe. Year-round content. Smash the like button. Follow us on X. Tomorrow on John and Jim, be there at 2 p.m.
Except for John, who will not be there. Because John will not be there tomorrow or Wednesday.
I'm going for the week. Jim went to Hawaii. I'm going out east. I'm seeing family. We're going to the beach. Although it
must be nice.
I literally live on the beach, so let's go fly 10 hours to go to the beach when it's like 75 and sunny every day, right here. Whatever. So listen to Jim on John and Jim, and then listen to Jim on the wrap-up show because
a lot of Jim tomorrow.
A lot of Jim coming up over the next few days. I will be back Sunday, so I'll be back with you guys Sunday night. I might pop in. I might pop in like Jim does from like a train in Switzerland on the wrap-up show, like 6 a.m. or wherever you are. But I'll be around.
Just bring your equipment with you. It's fine. Kristen won't care.
She'll care. Oh, she'll care.
I know.
She will.
The wives are over it now. We have passed the point of like leeway where it's like, hey, we're doing this really cool thing. Like, I got to do this. And like, oh, that's cool. Do it. We have passed that point. Then now it's like, you're not doing it. And if you do it, I'll murder you.
Dude, we're at the point where I'm like, I spend every waking hour doing something. And then I'm like, hey, honey, I'm going to go to the card show with Jim for 6 hours on Saturday. Is that cool? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're one day off. You want to go to the card show?
Yeah. Hey, you want a wife? Because guess what? I'm leaving you.
Dude.
I did pick up.
Get DSG on the wrap-up show. Like that.
Okay.
What about Fadden?
Who?
What about who else?
Darnay.
What about Brent? Darnay would be good. Get Darren on here, man. I texted with Darren when you were in Hawaii to come on. I think Darren would be good.
We'll see.
Okay, I want a rotating cast of characters. Coach.
I just always feel bad asking. It's like, do this thing at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. God, people don't want to do it that late.
We don't want to do it.
That's true. I don't want to do it.
Amazing. Get Scraby on here. Get Quinn and Chris.
How about I get Ben and Woods?
Perfect. Get Braden.
Perfect. Who's his producer? I'll get him on too.
Listen to Jim tomorrow, 2 p.m. San Diego Sports 760. Back tomorrow night on the wrap-up show. You'll see me at some point, sooner rather than later.
Oh.
6-3.
Again,
What do you got?
so all right. Next 3 days, John's gone, solo Jim. Friday, we're both gone. So there's nothing Friday.
Nothing Friday. We're freaking dark. No wrap-up show, no radio show.
And then Saturday, we're even darker because I think you might be traveling and I'll be in Vegas. So
no, we don't do anything on Saturday, dude. Like if the only Saturday shows in the history of the show I want to say are probably playoffs or like a no-hitter.
Right.
I think we've done. I mean, if something crazy that came back from like 8-0 down,
we did a no-hitter wrap-up show in the morning after you had like major surgery on your gums.
Oh my gosh! Remember that? I came back. I had like gum replacement, and I was like loopy. And if
you're like, what happened?
I'm like, Bella says
drooling. You're like, that was a really good game, even though I didn't watch any of it.
It was terrible.
And it was funny because the day before, you're like, nothing ever happens when either of us is gone.
I said that, yeah.
And it was like, oh, by the way, Dylan Cease threw a no-hitter last night.
You don't get dental surgery ever, I guess, during the baseball season. You certainly don't get dental surgery like July 30th.
Right.
Because around the trade deadline, there's going to be extra shows.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Padres lost to the DBacks. We'll see you tomorrow. And by we, I mean, you'll see Jim.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show. Thanks.
Bye-bye.